If you take a look at Oricon's 2025 top-selling manga ranking, you'll see a bunch of familiar faces in the top 5. The obvious king of shonen One Piece has taken his rightful spot back at number 1. Jujutsu Kaisen is continuing its unprecedented hype beyond its ending at number 2. And you got Dandadan and Blue Lock at 3 and 4 with very popular anime adaptations going on right now. But at 5, there's something that I consider to be somewhat of an anomaly. And that's Kingdom. Wait, this video is not about One Piece? Kingdom is a manga that most casuals, and I really do hate using that word, but it's a thing, I guess, have not heard of. With no hype anime to carry it and no Shonen Jump release, Kingdom has routinely still dominated sales in Japan. Now, pretty much every anime here has a strong adaptation that has been instrumental in its continued success, but Kingdom does not. And the key word here is strong. While production has seemed to improve in the latter season, Kingdom started with a very rough, full CGI anime. And we know, if you've been around for a while, you know that a CGI anime is like dead on arrival. It's so hard to fight beyond that. Usually you'll get a remake, and hopefully we'll get that. But either way, that put a bunch of people off immediately. But despite that, Kingdom is still here and it is massively popular. So why is this story so good and it's so popular in Japan but not worldwide? And why aren't you reading it? Well, I'm about to give a very spoiler-free, limited overview to hopefully get you into Kingdom. Let's cook. Now, I originally began writing this video at like the end of 2024, and after a bunch of procrastination, I never got around to making it. But since then, things have changed a little bit, and those new circumstances are a large reason why I think now is a better time than ever to get into Kingdom. So sometimes, kids, procrastination wins. There is finally an official English release for Kingdom. That's right, there's no more shady websites with anime feet popping up on your screen while you're trying to read. There's no more shitty translations. There is gonna be a little bit of confusion probably because the Japanese and Chinese names are a little different with like Shin and Zen, but they're still similar, but it's nothing too crazy. Regardless, the time is literally right now. I think Volume 3 has been translated at this point, and it seems to be following either a bi-weekly or a monthly release on this volume. So this makes the catch-up a lot more manageable. Since you don't have a mountain of chapters in front of you. I think Kingdom is around 800 chapters long. You don't have to look at that. You can just follow the English volume releases. But if you can't get enough and you're very interested, then just go ahead and read the fan translations after you catch up to the volume release, which probably will happen for a lot of people. I think accessibility was probably the biggest hurdle when it came to getting people into Kingdom. So this here is a massive W in terms of trying to increase worldwide popularity, because those Oricon rankings are from Japan. It's a top 5, selling manga in Japan, or top 10 consistently, but worldwide, not nearly as popular. And that's more than likely a big part, at least in English-speaking countries. There's no official English release. How am I people don't like to go out of their way to these shady websites. So to finally have something that is a lot easier to just pull up the Viz app, pull up Shonen Jump or whatever, and read it, that's way better. But let's talk about the actual manga now. What exactly is Kingdom about? We follow a young boy named Shin. He's a former slave turned into a soldier with the ambition of becoming the greatest general under the heavens. Now, Shin to me brings a shonen-like charisma to what could be a very dark and gruesome story. This is a seinen. I've actually never said that word out loud. Have y'all ever realized you've never said something out loud and you're wondering if you're actually pronouncing it right? Whatever. It's not a shonen. It's kind of catered to older audiences, so it can be a lot darker than these Shonen Jump manga that we usually see. Regardless, watching him grow from having nothing to what he has become over time is very reminiscent to me of Luffy's journey. And I'm gonna try to kind of use some other manga to relate back to Kingdom to kind of okay, if you like this in this manga, then you will probably like this in Kingdom. You feel me? So to me, one of the biggest selling points for One Piece is watching Luffy grow into what he's become today, which is the Yonko, right? He's one of the greatest pirates in the world. And to see what he became and what he is now is a extremely heartwarming feeling. And you get that same feeling in Kingdom with Shin. I'm not spoiling nothing, but you get that feeling. It's like pride. It's legitimate pride. The story is set in the Warring States period in Chinese history, where I think at this point we're down to 7 states left, and all of them are just vying for supremacy. There's warfare, there's political intrigue, it's a bunch of character growth, and it all makes the world feel so real. I mean, I guess technically it is real because China is definitely a thing, but you get what I'm saying. We don't just stick with 15-year-old Shin. We watch Shin grow over the time. I don't know how old he is now in story, but he's definitely no longer that same kid that we meet in chapter 1. He's grown so much, and his developments just really give you that warm feeling inside that you get from, like I said, I keep going back to One Piece, but Naruto had it too. We used to just love to see these guys grow up. Now, here's a warning. I will probably pronounce some of these names wrong. Like I said, there is a translation thing between the Japanese names and the Chinese names. And I've only read what I believe to be the Japanese translation. So I'm going to talk about characters right now, but if I say something wrong, or I put the picture up there, you know who I'm talking about. Kingdom's cast is full of extremely unique and diverse characters, and they all got their own motivations and goals that kind of help drive the plot forward, and it's just extremely entertaining to see a bunch of people who might be on the same side, but they're doing it for different reasons. Now, whether it's pure selfishness like Osen, or a desire to prove that you're the strongest like Mobu, or some other motivations like my boy Kanki, each piece on the board moves and it acts of its own volition while commanding the plot. Now, along with those guys, you got Shin's rivals in his own age range, like Ohan and my personal favorite character, Moten. Plus, Shin got his own allies like Ten and Kyokai. And now that I think about it, before I continue, the women in this story are actually great. You would think that a big warfaring story would just be a bunch of sweaty dudes, but nah, the women warriors in this story are amazing. And it feels good to see that. But I think my favorite thing about the author's character writing is his ability to just weave these individual stories within these epic battles. And sometimes it's hundreds of thousands of soldiers, but you'll see one guy do something that's an extremely pivotal moment, and it's a way that he develops the character. And you see somebody who you probably never expect getting shine at times, and it just makes it feel so rewarding when you see them have a massive impact on the outcome of the battle. So speaking of battles, let's talk about it quickly. There's no power system in Kingdom. There's no Kamehameha, Rasengan, and definitely ain't gonna be no devil fruits, at least for the time being. But there is a level of strategy and genius writing that you would have to search really, really hard to find in another manga. Like, of course, if you want your Unga Bunga strong man hits another strong man fights, you got that. It's gonna be there. But it's all weaved into these battles, and the setups and the different tactical styles you see employed can be jaw-dropping at times. Like, it's stuff that will really catch you off guard. And it's like, bro, how do you even think of that? Some of these dudes are real-life tactical genius like Riboku. Some of them are just pure instinctual generals like Duke Hyo. These different fighting styles all interact with each other, and it makes for some of the most entertaining battles ever. And at the core, you're still gonna get your individual fights. And all of this is showcasing character growth and strength, is overcoming obstacles that would have been virtually impossible in the past. I see some stuff later on that just makes you just smile. Like, I can't even imagine him doing that a few arcs ago. But anyway, I will continue speaking, but out of fear of spoiling, I am going to stop right here. Hopefully, I was able to convince you to at least give Kingdom a try. And I'll just say this, among the greatest manga ever, there are those arcs that people universally recognize as the cream of the crop. You got the Chimera Ant arc from Hunter x Hunter, Marineford, and in my opinion, Water 7, which is probably better. This is not a One Piece video. Marineford from One Piece, the Cell games, or maybe they would go to Namek Saga for Dragon Ball Z, the Pain arc in Naruto. I think that Kingdom's Coalition War has a seat at that table. No doubt in my mind. Actually, I would argue it's better than all of those. To be completely 100 with you, it is really that good. And I say this as a One Piece glazer. Now, I'm one of Oda's angels, apparently. And I really wonder how different things would be if Kingdom came out with a really good anime adaptation. But if my uncle, Kingdom is a breathtaking experience, and you're cheating yourself if you're not reading it. The perfect time to get into it was actually yesterday, but the second best time is now. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I'm This is my first non-One Piece video. I'm branching out, and I definitely don't want to just be pigeonholed into only being a One Piece channel. I love anime in general, even though One Piece is probably my favorite. If not Kingdom, they're 1 and 2. But it won't just be those two. I'm gonna talk about a bunch of stuff, and I want y'all to be here for the ride too. So, like, subscribe, tap in, and we will be here.